I recently joined a car sharing program whose vehicles come with a feature called EcoScore. Now what this does is it breaks down your driving ability into 3 different categories: accelerating, coasting, and decelerating. It gives you a score 1 to 100. Now it also adds on a picture of a tree. The worse your score, you get more of like a Charlie Brown Christmas really spindly tree. If you get a really good score though, it's a really nice, beautiful Christmas tree. And I found that once I learned about the program and kind of figured out how it worked, I was periodically checking my score just to make sure that I was driving better and kind of making sure that the score was as best as it could be, even though I wasn't getting any sort of tangible benefit out of it. Now what EcoScore has done is it's found a way to quantify otherwise arbitrary information. There's not a metric to go off of for driving ability, but they've made one, and it's presented the information in a way that is easily digestible and something that people can relate to. Now I'm advocating for a similar process, for establishing a visual relationship between resources that people use and the people that use them, for contextualizing consumption, essentially. For example, let's say your toilet uses 1.6 gallons of water per minute when you flush it. Now 1.6 doesn't inherently mean anything, but if you attach onto that a graphic of a milk gallon that's already full and then a second milk gallon that's partially full, you get an idea of how much water that actually looks like, because you've held a milk gallon jug before. You know how heavy that is, and it instantly puts into your head, wow, that might be a lot of water. That's a lot more than I'm used to. And it gets you thinking about how much you're using. Now I think that information, that sort of empowerment, is incredibly important in that it gets people thinking about how much they're using of a resource. And just by changing behavior and getting people to understand that you can get people to use less, now that makes non-renewable resources easier to transition from. It makes alternatives more viable because there's less demand on the system. It makes equipment last longer, it saves money, and you can make all of it fun at the same time. You can make it competitive and just an enjoyable time. And if you change how people see the picture, you can change what the picture can become.